name is Josh Martin, Solutions Architect here at Cyolo. And today I'm going to be talking about Cyolo's agent-based approach to secure remote access. While the Cyolo platform is 98% agentless, there are still use cases that require the use of a traditional endpoint agent. These use cases can include device posturing with Cyolo, as we need something on the actual device to be able to query it. This can also extend to legacy applications, traditionally thick client to server applications. Now, these servers might need multiple ports open, and this is great for our agent. And then lastly, traditional network-based access. So if you need to provide access to an entire subnet or maybe just a few devices over a range of ports, then the Cyolo agent is a great option. Now, taking a look at my login screen right here, I'm going to log into the Cyolo platform. Now, I already have the agent installed, and as you can see, a new tab has opened that says success, device has been connected. So there's a policy option that can be enabled to automatically log users into their Cyolo agent when they log into the Cyolo platform. And now I can go up to my system tray, and now we can see that my device is indeed connected with the Cyolo agent. I can see who I'm logged in as, I've done my multi-factor authentication, and I have a few other options here. Now, as an end user, I can either navigate my Cyolo network resources with the agent or through the web UI. So now going to the web UI, I'm going to scroll down, and now we see that I have a network application defined right here in CO1. And now I'm going to click this, and now we see that we have a green check mark. This means that I have successfully connected to that actual network. Users can be connected to as many networks at one time as dictated by policy and what that user should have access to. Now, from within the agent, when I select my Networks tab right here, we'll see it launches a new browser tab where I can see all of the network-based applications that my agent can reach. So again, I can either access these resources through my web UI or through the agent UI itself. Now let's take a look at the backend configuration for network resources within Cyolo. So let's take this NCO1 example that you just saw me access. From here, just like any other Cyolo application, we give the resource a name. We tell it which protocol, in this case, it's a network. And then I can also define both the TCP and UDP ports that should be accessible. So in this case, it's wide open. You can dictate this by saying port 22 or 3389 to only allow SSH and RDP access to whichever network addresses that we've defined. Right here, I have defined an entire /24 subnet. So the network application type can support CIDR notation. So you can define either individual addresses with a /32, or you can give full access to even a /8 subnet if desired. So setting up a network resource within Cyolo is incredibly easy, even easier than a traditional VPN. So traditional to Cyolo, we're going to give the asset a name. And now we're going to pick that this is a network-based application. This only applies to the Cyolo agent. You can only use network-based resources if the Cyolo agent is deployed. I can also select what TCP and UDP ports should be accessible. Here, I've given it a range, and I've basically given full access to the actual asset that I'm defining here in a second. But you can also be very granular with this. Instead, I can say only port 22 and 3389 to only allow RDP and SSH traffic. I click next, and now I define the resource that I should be accessing. And this can either be an IP address or an FQDN. In this case, I've used CIDR notation to expose an entire /24 network to anyone who's using this agent, anyone who has access to use the agent and this actual resource. So if you wanted to just do one single IP address, you can define it as a /32. You can define a range of IP addresses, 1 to 4 addresses, but really any type of combination works here. I can also enable ping if I want to do any type of quick troubleshooting. And we can also set digital experience monitoring so that we can query a specific endpoint on this network to measure any latency, any bandwidth changes, and of course, uptime of that asset as well. Now I'm going to actually give access to certain users. So anyone underneath identities who should have access to this, I will add their user account or groups right here. Cyolo's supervision still applies to network-based applications. So we can still prompt a user for just-in-time access before they access a traditional network device or before they access that entire subnet range. Again, I can add in different policy rules to dictate how many times this user should MFA, where I'm going to allow them to log in from, what times that they have access to actually get into this network. And as mentioned earlier, here's where we can apply our supervised access. In terms of deploying the Cyolo Connect agent, we have two options. Administrators can push the agent via their MDM, like most endpoint agents. We also allow user self-service, so users can come in and download the agent themselves, regardless of their operating system. To do so, I simply navigate to my user profile in the top right of the Cyolo Applications portal. I select Download Cyolo Connect. We will automatically detect the operating system that you're on. So in this case, I'm in Mac OS, so it will present me a .pkg file to install on my operating system. As you can see here, we also offer two options for Windows, a one-time exe executable agent or a persistent MSI agent. Cyolo Connect is also supported on Linux, iOS, and Android devices.